DEI. Have there ever been three more destructive letters to society and culture worldwide?
I think not.
Let's talk about it. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. That is what it stands for. Everyone has heard of it. And if you want to know more about it, I encourage you to go look it up for yourself. Now, with me, DEI stands for dumbassery, ego, and incompetence.
Yeah, that was it. That's it.
Because all three of those things are in play when it comes to the law of DEI. You see, the law of DEI is to increase, encourage, and you see, the commandment of DEI is to bring about equity, diversity, and inclusion into different areas and marketplaces where those that be, whoever they the fuck are, feel that that needs to take place. Essentially, DEI is a cure for the disease that does not exist. In the areas where DEI is being enforced, diversity and inclusion was already there. Equity, that is something that I need to make an entire other video about. I've done videos about it before. DEI connects to ESG. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance accords. Essentially, your DEI score affects your ESG score, which grants various corporate entities loans, better rates on loans, basically all the corporate favors to get things done. We've seen it across a ton of genres, across every spectrum you could possibly think about. Even in areas where you think it's not there, yeah, it's there too. But what got me on the topic today, what has me on it today, was the self-righteous Stephen A. Smith. You see, another talk show host, Clay Travis, spoke on the University of Florida firing all its DEI employees. Everyone hired under that banner, the DEI department, the whole Megillah, gone, poof, out of there. Government funded, get your ass out of here. And apparently, Mr. Stephen A. Smith had a problem with that. Now, the way I'm going to present it to you is the way that Mr. Smith presented it to us on his podcast. I'm going to let it play, interjecting comments here and there, so you can see exactly where he's coming from, where Mr. Travis is coming from, and how he feels about it. So without further ado, let's check it out.
It was announced last Friday that the University of Florida fired its entire diversity, equity, and inclusion department. Governor Ron DeSantis took to social media to say this about the decision. Listen to this quote. DEI is toxic and has no place in our public universities. I'm glad that Florida was the first state to eliminate DEI, and I hope more states follow suit. Former Florida and Dallas Cowboys legend Emmitt Smith fired back on social media, blasting his alma mater following the controversial firings. I am utterly disgusted by UF's decision and the precedent that it sets, Smith wrote on social media. Without the DEI department, the job falls to raise money for the university and continue to advance the academic studies and athletic program, or shall I say they were fails. We cannot continue to believe and trust that a team of leaders, all made up of the same background, will make the right decision when it comes to equality and diversity. History has already proven that is not the case. Instead of showing courage and leadership, we continue to fail based on systemic issues. And with this decision, UF has conformed to the political pressures of today's time.
Now, I have a few questions for our oh so informed Hall of Fame running back, Mr. Emmitt Smith. How do you know that the people on that board or that committee or that council all have the same background? Say what you really want to say. They're all white, so you believe they all think the same way. That's what you really mean, Mr. Smith. Emmitt Smith, I'm referring to at this time. That's what you mean, Emmitt. You don't know those people on that board. So how do you know that all their decisions are going to be, from what you're inferring, anti-black or anti-minority? You don't know those people. You don't know their backgrounds. Carry on, Stephen A. Carry on.
Florida made its decision to eliminate all of its DEI positions to comply with the Florida Board of Governors regulations. DEI is defined as, quote, any program, campus activity, or policy that classifies individuals based on race, color, sex, national origin, gender identity, or sexual orientation, and promotes differential or preferential treatment of individuals on the basis of such classifications.
That's racist!
Damn right. That is racist. As black people, isn't that what we fight against? Isn't that what our great-great-grandparents fought against? Was favorable or preferential treatment based on your race, ethnicity, gender? Didn't we fight that? Shouldn't we automatically be against that? Well, maybe he has a reason, y'all. Let's let Stephen A. finish. Maybe he has a reason.
Let me tell you what sparked my desire to touch on this subject. It was Clay Travis, conservative talk show host. Listen up.
Florida Gators have done something that I think is really important. Today, effective immediately, every diversity, equity, and inclusion employee at the University of Florida was fired. They all had to leave. Their jobs ended immediately. The $5 million that was being spent, which is a crazy amount of money, on their salaries will now go back into the general fund, and they will be able to hire actual employees to do actual jobs, not corporate diversity, equity, and inclusion zealots. And I would say this in general. I think every diversity, equity, and inclusion employee on the planet should be fired.
And I say, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. Because you weren't hired on anything more than surface shit. You weren't hired on anything more than having a different skin tone, than coming from a different ethnic group. Not your merit, but your superficial shit. What race are you? What gender are you? And now what sexuality are you? Not can you do this job? How good are you at this position? You are not hired on bullshit. So I'm with Mr. Travis. Every DEI hire should be fucking fired immediately.
Get the fuck out of here.
But let's see what Stephen A's problem with this whole thing is.
There you have it. There you've heard it. So he wants DEI eliminated everywhere.
Shouldn't you?
I respect what he has to say in most instances. I don't always agree. Half the time, at least, I don't agree. But I respect it, okay? Because he is entitled to his feelings. He's just not entitled to his facts.
What exactly does that mean? He's not entitled to his facts? What facts did he? Okay, y'all go back and rewatch that because I'm playing it back in my head. Other than saying that DEI was purged from the University of Florida, he didn't present any other facts. He made it clear that's how he feels. So what? Oh, it's a narrative. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, Stephen A. Proceed with your bullshit.
We have our facts too. And when you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, let's make sure we understand a couple of things that are incredibly imperative to bring up. How about history?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. My great grandpappy was beat by massa, so I'm entitled to my great great granddaddy was, oh my God. Please shut the hell up. This is so fucking tiring. It is tiring on so many levels. What about history, Stephen A? There are a lot of things in history, good and bad. What the fuck about it? You know something else that's not discussed enough in the black community and the black culture when it comes to history? Why don't we talk about how up in Tulsa, I think it was called the Greenwood District up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's referred to in colloquial terms as Black Wall Street. Why don't we talk about what a success that was? And why don't we talk about getting that back? Why don't we talk about Atlanta in the 1900s? Specifically 1900 Atlanta, preceding the riot, how successful Black Atlanta was. Why don't we bring that up? Why don't we bring that up when we look at ourselves and go, why do we have so many ghettos, so many low-income areas? Why are blacks in so many low-income circumstances when back in the day, back in a time where it was all but legal to lynch Negroes, we found success? Why don't we talk about that? But maybe I'm jumping the gun. Let's see what you're going to say, Stephen A.
You see, when you see people like Clay Travis.
What do you mean, you people?
Why are we ignoring history? See, Clay Travis, that's my problem. Respectfully. That's my problem. But that's my problem. History. Why do we ignore history when you take the position that you took?
See what I just said, y'all? Why is it that you only want to bring up history in the negative? You only want to bring up history as it comes to us being oppressed. You only want to bring up black history as it pertains to us being in a dark place in dark times. Bring up the positive shit because there is a lot of positive shit out there. Why do these black talking heads, why do you always run back to, oh, we were oppressed? Oh, I said it before in a previous video and I'll say it again. If any of you care to do world history, every great civilization, from Rome in the BCs to America today, it was all based somewhere in their history on slave labor. All of it. You won't find a prosperous civilization that didn't have it. As a matter of fact, Mr. Stephen A., talk about the slavery in America. How did they get here? Because the Africans sold us to other people. So don't try that history shit talking about why does somebody else want to ignore it. Why do you? If you're going to bring it up, bring it all up, partner. Don't come with this whole, oh, back in the slavery days, my great great grandmammy was raped by.
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain where there are no more fuck ups to shut.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. What's wrong with diversity? What's wrong with inclusion? Equity might be challenging because not everybody deserves equality.
Do you even listen to yourself when you talk? I drift in and out.
By meaning in terms of opportunities. You got to perform. You got to perform.
Am I tripping or are y'all hearing this? Let's keep going.
And I shouldn't say you don't deserve opportunities because everybody deserves opportunities. They just don't deserve the same results.
He is supposed to be defending DEI, right? Because what I just heard exposed what the problem with DEI is. America is a republic that is based on meritocracy. You get what you earn. If you ain't earned it, you shouldn't get it.
And if that's what you're arguing about and that's what you're fighting about, that's something for the black community to take into consideration because we have to harken back. You see, we have to go back to the existence of affirmative action because DEI essentially emanates from all of that. So when we're talking about DEI, we got to go to its origin, which is affirmative action. Why did affirmative action exist? Why were these some of the things that we have to talk to? It was intergenerational poverty among black Americans. It needed to be addressed.
He was right. It was interracial poverty that the government thought they could fix. The government believed that affirmative action could help. And if you go look it up, I always encourage you to do the research. Go look at the long-term effects of affirmative action. They're minimal at best. It wasn't the great thing that it set out to be. Affirmative action is still in the books. Yet the majority of the black culture, the black community, is poor. So what does that say about affirmative action? You see, people like this, like Stephen A. and his ilk, since he wants to talk about ilks, they talk about, on one hand, they talk about how we need the help to be brought up to our white peers. We need our foot in the door. We need opportunity to show what we can do. But these same type of people will then say, well, we need to create our own. Well, that's talking out of both sides of your mouth. Either you are going to create your own, thrive, and make it grow to its own thing, like they did in Greenwood District in Tulsa, Oklahoma, like they did in Atlanta. Do your history to see the prosperity of the black community. And I am sure that there were other places, other pockets in the South, up north, there were other pockets across this nation where black communities thrived because they understood we have to do this shit on our own. Well, currently you have half the people talking about, no, let me take that back. You have the same people talking about, we want to be included. We're going to do our own. Essentially, you're running around in a circle and you wonder why black folks ain't got anywhere. Pick a lane and stay in it, because it's absolutely asinine to believe that affirmative action, currently known as DEI, is necessary. Oh, now, again, I lived certain parts of history. I was born in the early 70s, so I understand. I saw firsthand, yeah, black folks needed an opportunity. We needed to get our foot in the door to show people what we could do. But it is 2024. Affirmative action is no longer needed. DEI never was, because DEI is the cure for a disease that does not exist. Like most things in life, he talks about hearkening back to the past. Times change. Things grow, evolve, and mature. Back then, you would have never thought about a black man owning his own movie studio. I give to you Tyler Perry. You would have never thought a black man starting an all-black television network. I give you Robert Johnson. You would have never thought a black man being one of the hottest designers in clothing. I give you Carl Kanai. You would have never thought a black billionaire who has their own television network, and as a woman, I give you Miss Oprah Winfrey. When we were children, in order to ride a bike, we needed training wheels. Those training wheels kept us balanced until we learned to ride right down the middle. We learned to keep our balance and stay up on our own. And what do you do with training wheels when they are no longer needed? You remove them. Affirmative action, DEI, they're not needed. Diversity, equity, and inclusion comes naturally. Everything is merit-based. It's all gained. Mr. Stephen A., you said it yourself. Even you, double talking, trying to defend DEI, showed every reason, said every reason why it should be shut the fuck down.
Shut it down. Shut it all down.
Hey, you're the boss.
You actually made Clay Travis's point for him while bitching about it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Way to go, champ. Well, that's all I got for you. Remember to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and if you like what you heard, feel free to share it. If you didn't like what you heard, share it still and tell everybody how much of an asshole and an idiot you think I am. But either way, put the word out. Let me know what you think. Let's have a discussion. This is Big Brother Tucker, and until next time, remember to stand up, stand out, think differently. I'll holler.